Welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Reshape Hospitality with Tech. I'm your host, Maria, and I'm joined by my co host, Kazim. I have a wonderful guest for today's episode who has vast experience in the hospitality industry. She is Jessica Hayes. Welcome and thank you for joining us, Jessica.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for having me.
You are a successful consultant in sales and marketing. I would love to hear from you about yourself. And I believe that every person faces different challenges in their professional life. So, could you please share with us and our audience about the challenges you face in your professional journey?
Sure. Thanks. So I started in hospitality right out of college. I was a French major, and my parents told me that wasn't the most lucrative thing to study, but I've always loved to travel, and I had been taking the language for a long time. I couldn't quite find my place as a French major, but a friend of mine worked for a company called Newmarket, which was since been acquired by Amadeus. So um,
Mhm.
when I went to interview, I ran into the CEO of the company. He said, "You speak French. You like to travel. You went to Mount Holyoke. You're hired. I can teach you hotels. I can teach you software." So my first job was for, like I said, Newmarket, now Amadeus, and I trained Delphi. They're one of their main sales and catering products. I flew out every Sunday, came back every Friday. So I worked in hundreds of hotels right out of college. And
Mhm.
it really set the foundation for my whole entire career. I mean, back then, and it's actually not that different now, my challenges were teaching hotels what should be automated and what, the core of hospitality is the people. So you don't want to lose that. But automating manual processes, ultimately helps everyone out. It helps the guest, it helps the hotel. So just having a lot of empathy for hotels, learning new technology, adopting new technology, integrating that into their way of life. And professionally, I had to learn on the fly. I really had to learn how to speak the language of hotels, not French. So I learned on the fly. It's something I very
Mhm.
much appreciate. I certainly have had many experiences that we can talk about, but those were my early on
Mhm.
experiences.
Oh, that's so impressive, Jessica. Uh, could you tell us about Hospitality Consultant and how your organization has been supporting hoteliers during the challenges faced by the hospitality industry, especially during COVID?
Yeah, so I have in 2017, I founded my own consultancy. I really saw a need, especially for startups in the hospitality technology space. They couldn't afford to hire a big VP of sales and marketing, so I came in as a very nimble advisor, and I would help them with their messaging and really a lot of startups in the hotel tech space. They maybe have created a tech solution based on what they feel they need as a guest or that the guest needs. But how do
Mhm.
you then reach out to hotels and get them to understand pain points? And so I would work with the company on messaging, outreach, um, shortening sales cycles,
Mhm.
partnerships with other vendors. And that's what I've done as a consultant, is really advise them on how to penetrate the hospitality market, some of the nuances around how decisions get made in hotels and navigating that. Ultimately, I love being an advisor and a consultant, but I joke that, the reason I do it is so that I can date before I get married. So I can work with these companies
Mhm.
and then decide, can I make a big impact longer term? So it's a really nice. It's been amazing to be part of companies at their very early beginning stages, and then ultimately looking for some place to land. So it's been great.
Oh, that's nice. Jessica, considering your expertise in this area, how do you help clients in achieving their goals in sales and marketing by using the right tools to generate leads, track
Mm.
performance, and create engaging content?
Um, Well, there isn't just one strategy. I'm finding right
Mm-hmm.
now that, and we're in a period of overcorrection. I talk a lot about, in times of chaos and stress is when innovation comes in, right? So that's really exciting. But we've all been at our desks for many, many years, answering emails and calls and emails and calls. And while that's still
Mm-hmm.
one method of outreach, a lot of business right
Yeah.
now is getting done in person. We're now
Mm-hmm.
back full-fledged to person to person, and that's where hospitality professionals shine. So you need to, and while that can be expensive, to send
Mm-hmm.
people, it's essential in our industry. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say a strategy needs to be, send your top people in person to meet with hotels or hotel corporations. Um, Driving leads, that's very much, a integration of sales and marketing. So again, why I started my consultancy is being able to have a unified person or team driving
Mm-hmm.
leads in different ways. So LinkedIn, obviously a very big, it's grown and grown from the hospitality perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Inbound marketing,
Mm-hmm.
social media. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
components to it, but you have to have a unified sales and marketing team and messaging, and not there's no silver bullet. It needs to constantly be iterated, and there's many, many, many different methods.
Yeah, completely understand. Thank you for sharing your insights about it.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you, Maria. So, Jessica, the first thing I would like to ask is that after the pandemic, the hospitality industry faced severe staff shortages, and to this date, it hasn't quite recovered from that. But how do you think technology has helped the industry in overcoming that obstacle?
Well, we're not there yet. Again, it's about taking a look at, let's just say, your individual hotel and what are the pain points. Where's the staff really overburdened, right? There's certainly housekeeping and wage issues that drives innovation, like digital tipping. But that's just one component. I think ultimately the communication center of the hotel needs to be automated and improved. So obviously text messaging helps from a guest standpoint, but how's your staff communicating with each other? Are they still using
Mm-hmm.
walkie talkies? There's programs out there that really do a great job of helping with internal communications. And then, you know, in order to retain your staff, it's about retention and appreciating what they're doing. So, how can you be more engaged? How can you engage your employees? Because the way you treat your employees is the way the guests should be treated, and vice versa. Um, those we're just not there yet. I think there again, this is exciting. There's some innovation, but there's a lot that remains to be improved.
And also because sales and marketing is something of a specialty of yours.
Yeah.
Nowadays, how do you see these big data and data analytics helping or changing the hospitality industry, particularly in sales and marketing?
Well, um, I think, well, honestly, I think the innovation is on the revenue side. So, understanding your guests, understanding where your revenue is coming from, and then defining your sales and marketing strategy around that specific guest. So, being much more targeted about who's coming to your property and how to reach them and where do they want to be reached and how do they want to be reached. I talk a lot about ancillary revenue with my current job, and that's because guests want to be engaged early and often for the property, and then while they're on property there's revenue opportunities. So constantly be reaching out to your guests, making sure that their experience both exceeds what they thought, and that while they're on property you're maximizing your interaction with them. So I hope that answered your question.
It does. And also, the thing about hospitality is we say home away from home. But do you
Mm.
think just the uh, experience of having a room with a nice, comfortable bed, a good meal, and some amenities is going to solve the problem? Or maybe the guest expectation has changed. They want fast Wi-Fi, they want streaming services, they want many technological things. They may prefer to avoid face-to-face contact. They may prefer to chat to the hotel staff instead of picking up the phone for room service. Do you think this is something that the hotel industry needs to adapt and look into it?
Yeah, finally we're seeing some strides in that area. I worked for a company that was very early to market where we were replacing compendiums with iPads and other tablets, and you were able to order room service through digitally, right? And this was a long time ago. But now we're seeing that technology a lot because of the touchless component of COVID, but also because, to your point, you know, I think your average guest, two things. It's a fine line. They don't want to have to learn a new piece of technology when they come into the room, right? We've all been there where you check into a room and there's like 7 different switches to make the lighting and the shades and the heating and the, and then you've got a tablet, but then you've got a phone and you've got a mobile app and some QR codes. Like that's a lot. That's not necessarily what the guest needs. How do you remove friction when a guest checks into a room? You want to automate, but you want to keep things fairly simple and enhanced. You want to serve up relevant content to them. So, are you using your TV to serve up content, or the mobile app, or a tablet? Yeah, there's all different ways, and depending on the property, I know all the solutions out there. There is a way of really making it a seamless experience, but we're not there yet on mobile check-in, mobile key. How many guests are still using it? And that's, because it is hard to adopt technology in hotels, and because these vendor partners really need to talk to each other to make sure all the systems work together. It gets overly complicated and overly siloed, but it doesn't need to be. I know the solutions that are out there, and I know what the guest wants. And I think, to your point, you want the amenities to be a little bit personal to you, right? Like I don't, necessarily when I check in, I don't want chips and popcorn, and like I need a power bar and some green juice and something to hydrate. And, maybe I forgot, I need Band-Aids for my blisters, or, there are different things that you can engage the guest in property or in room as well.
And moving on the technology point of view, people are kind of like this is a technological revolution that we are living in, and everything about technology will take over the hospitality. There will be artificial intelligence and there will be robotics, and we have actually seen some experiment with the robotics in the hospitality industry.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think the claim that robotics will be the future of the hospitality industry, will it be the case though, or that human touch always needs to be there for the hospitality industry to work properly?
It's both. I use technology for good, right? So use robotics and AI and all the sophisticated technology that's coming out to automate the things that can be automated, and then use the human touch for everything else. And it's a blended approach. There are certain hotel companies that are doing it better than others. Most have a long way to go. I don't think anybody particularly wants to interact with a robot when they check into a hotel. That being said, they may not want to interact with anybody. They may just want to bypass everything, check into their room, maybe go down to the bar, have a drink. But you're not going to want a robot to serve you a drink, in my opinion.
That's true. There are also some Hollywood movies warning against that as well. But I would also like to take your opinion regarding independent hotels, because in this
Mm,
era, big chains and big brands do have that ability to adapt technology on a massive scale. But what
mm.
about the small boutique hotels? Do you think that they should jump into the technology right away, or rather they should wait, take their time, or after the guest reviews come in, then go for implementing big technological changes?
The independent hotel space is the most exciting space. You're not, as somebody who's been selling software to hotels for over 25 years, brand restrictions, um, tech stack restrictions, who's got an open API, who plays well with somebody else. Those are all hard enough to navigate on the brand side. Independent hotels should really use their status to leverage where the innovation is, but very thoroughly vet the tech vendors, right? You don't want to just try everything that's shiny and new. You want to make sure that the companies that you're investing in that are innovative, maybe, know the landscape and integrate with more. You want to blend. You want more legacy products with innovation. And in an independent hotel, you have an opportunity to really create a family with your staff. So ask your staff, what parts of your job would you like automated? What's keeping you up at night? What's keeping us from, maybe a perfect TripAdvisor score? To me, it's just a super exciting landscape to push innovation and streamline what we've learned the hard way, from legacy pieces of software.
And just another question before we move again to Maria. Uh, Alternate accommodation like Airbnb has so much flexibility in terms of payment methods. Guests can pay via Venmo, digital wallet, digital payments, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But do you think the hospitality industry can or will incorporate digital payments also in the future for the ease of guests?
I think they're going to have to, and I know there are companies who are working towards that. Yes, is the short answer. I mean, there's obviously the reason there's security concerns, but the whole process of handing over your ID and your credit card and then agreeing to an upfront fee that that whole process needs to go away. From a guest perspective, it's easier said than done, but there are companies that can do it. So yeah, we need to get much more advanced in hospitality with digital payments.
Yeah, because especially in the US, they need to take the first step because we have seen the implementation of those in China or India and maybe even Europe, but US is sort of lagging behind on that.
Yeah, we'll get there. I really do think like over the last couple of years, pieces of technology that I thought like maybe were not was sort of not getting pushed forward are now getting pushed forward.
That's amazing.
You are the president in HSMI. Can you tell us how HSMI is impacting hotels, resorts, and technology companies?
Yeah, well, yes, thank you. The Boston chapter is very near and dear to my heart. I'm actually the immediate past president. We have a new president, Debbie. She's amazing.
Mhm.
It's about integrating sales, marketing, revenue teams and giving them the ability to learn and improve their careers and network with one another and hear the problems in the market. So, specifically in Boston, it's this really nice combination of a big city but a smaller market, and watching the hoteliers lean on each other and creating a panel where you're hearing from all the general managers about what they're seeing specific to the Boston market. It gives everyone an opportunity both for professional growth from a networking standpoint, but also HSMAI has a ton of programming where you can get certified in each of your individual roles and then set a career path. One of my other favorite things about HSMAI, and we're seeing, despite what people are saying about the labor shortage, the collegiate, there's a big, obviously, college community in Boston, and they're coming to our events more and more and really are engaged. And being able to find mentors who both, maybe I say, yes, you can work in hotels. It's amazing. You can travel, but you could also work for a software company and travel that way and integrate with hotels that way. So much opportunity and in person. We just have the best time. I adore everything about HSMAI.
Continuing on, explain the importance of events like high tech and HFT for the hospitality industry.
So I've been on and off going to high tech for 25 years. It can be a bit like a high school reunion, college reunion. We're all coming together. We see each other once a year, especially as vendors. That's the fun part about it. But the serious part about it is that, as vendors and partners, the closer we work together, and this is what I've learned over time is, you need to become friends with your competitors, right? From a technology standpoint, we're all selling technology at high tech, and in a way it can be like, you see a hotelier and the tech vendors come like vultures, but that's not the way decisions get made anymore, and nobody appreciates that kind of atmosphere. So it's more coming to the hoteliers with a unified message, like I'm going to either work with a certain PMS company to make your onboarding process much easier and make sure the systems are talking together. Or I'm learning from my competitor, there's enough room for several vendors out there, right? There's lots of different kinds of hotels. And so high tech really is a place where it should be, in my opinion, it really is about forming partnerships, forming strategic partnerships, both from the vendors side and hoteliers being able to really count on and trust who they're partnering with, because budgets have changed quite a bit. And if you're going to invest in technology, you want to invest in the ones that really work well together and have a unified message for hoteliers.
Yeah, very impressive. Considering your experience in the hospitality industry, what advice would you give to young professionals who are just starting their career in this industry?
Try everything. I mean, there's so much opportunity. It's such an amazing industry. I talk about how the word hospital and hospitality have the same root, right? And you want to help people. You want to, you get into this industry because you want to help, or you appreciate service, or you appreciate travel, or you appreciate, food and beverage and connecting with people. So there's so much opportunity if you want to work on the hotel side, work the front desk, work in sales. General managers wear every single hat. They're cleaning rooms, they're doing turn down service. So if you can find a hotel where you're part of a family and you're constantly working every single day to make the guest experience better, that is so exciting. And then you can transfer to a different city and an even different country. And same thing on the tech side. If you come at it from a place of empathy with hotels and really want to make an impact on how technology can help their jobs, then there's so much opportunity. And there's a lot of people like us, especially women, who are really looking to mentor the next generation and learn from them. They have a much different way of engaging with technology than I do. And so how can we learn from each other?
I agreed with your statement. Try everything and in continuous learning. Everyone deserves some me time. Could you please share with us what you enjoy doing in your free time and what hobbies you have?
Well, I love to travel, but I have 4 kids, which is a little bit of cognitive dissonance. It's really hard to travel with 4 kids. So when I'm working and traveling, I try to tack on a day to spend time with my friends, or go to a museum, or go to a spa, or sit by a pool if I can, just so that I actually sometimes feel like I travel so that I can be by myself. Because when I'm home, I'm working from home. I've got my kids, I've got my animals. It's like a circus around here. But then on the weekends, I really do try to unplug. We live near the beach. Our summer season is short, but I read a lot. I make time to read every single day. I'm a very curious person. There's a lot I have left to learn. And then for fun, I'm a dancer. I love to dance. It's kind of, if I can go take a dance class, I'll go do that. I exercise, get outside as much as possible. But I'm still working on the whole work-life integration piece, because it's a work in progress.
As you have said, you have a passion for travel. We would love to know what destination holds a special place in your heart as your all-time favorite.
Well, I have a couple. We adopted our daughter from Ethiopia. So that was one of the times where I traveled for my personal life and for fun and enrichment. And she's just an absolute joy. She's my 4th child, and she's a ray of light. The people in Ethiopia are amazing. I need to go back there. Africa in general is, I have a huge affinity for it, and there's so many places I have not been. So that's always very memorable. For my honeymoon, I went very bougie, and we went to Tahiti. And
Wow.
oh gosh, an overwater bungalow is like nirvana. There's nothing better than being able to see the fish from the coffee table. It's just amazing. So those are the travel experiences that stand out. But I travel to New York City a lot. I live, 5 hours from New York, and every time I go to New York, I ate dinner at a Korean barbecue place last week that blew my mind. That's not something we get up here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So I just really try to soak up every place I go.
Jessica, let's take a moment to discuss the individuals who have shaped your personal and
Mm.
professional growth. We all have influential figures who have made a significant impact on our journeys. I'm curious to know about those individuals who have played an important role in your career.
So many. My first amazing boss was Shantae. She's still at Amadeus. She created a team leader position for us trainers. And I very early on got a role in leadership, and she set that up for me. She's the most positive, energizing, wonderful person. She's still in the
Mhm.
industry. I learned so much from her. Um, I had another amazing boss named Jennifer who
Mhm.
when I had to adopt my daughter, I had just accepted this job, and you can never control the timing of adoption. And I said to her, "I'm so excited about this job, but I've got to go to Ethiopia. I'll be right back. It's not going to impact my job at all." And she was so graceful and wonderful in paving the way for me. Um, Currently, the president of Plusgrade, Ken Harris, he's totally inspiring. He created our whole ancillary revenue program because he was on a flight and wanted to pay money to upgrade on first class, and there was no technology that would enable him to do that. So he created a company out of it, and he's really inspiring. We're doing that for hotels now, where we can, when pre-arrival, you can just upgrade your room, you can bid on a room. So I get jazzed about innovators like that as well. And then it's my other vendor friends. I'm
Mhm.
part of GAIN, which is a group of advisors in hospitality, Michael Cohen, David Malilly. I'm always inspired by the women because there's not enough of us. So I could go on and on, but those are just a few.
Oh my God. I think there's a lot of lists on it, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's nice. Jessica, based on your expertise and experience in the hospitality industry, I would like to know your recommendation for hoteliers looking to improve their services.
Mm. Engage with the guest pre-arrival. Make sure that your digital marketing, your website, your social media is accurate, true, and that you are setting the proper expectation. Um, Try to eliminate friction from the check-in process, and the in-room service and amenities should be elevated. You shouldn't like I said, have to learn a piece of equipment or a really complicated TV system when you check into a hotel. And figure out ways to, everybody talks about this, but the traveler wants these amazing experiences. How do you get the experience to be better? Maybe I can just call, through my mobile app, get a yoga mat and some weights delivered to my room so I can exercise. And then maybe there's a program on my TV that I can easily log into to take a class. Or maybe you have a partnership with the Korean barbecue restaurant and you can just send me
Mhm.
there for dinner, knowing that, I like specific food. There's a lot of opportunity to get to know your guests better and market to the guests. But it has to be every touch point. And then post departure, offer me a discount on my next stay or promote a sister property in a different city. So I think a lot of it really is about, again, elevating in all different ways, but every guest is different.
That's so true. Every guest is different, and your insights will help hoteliers in enhancing their hotel guest experience. We had a great time chatting with you as you have
Me too.
shared a lot about industry trends with us. Thank you once again, Jessica, for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You always welcome. And at the end, I would like to say your expertise in the industry is truly amazing.
Well, I love chatting about it. I have many more opinions to share, and I appreciate the opportunity.
My pleasure. See you again in the future. Take care and goodbye. Thanks for watching us. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. See you with another guest with more insightful conversation. Till then, take care and goodbye.